Devin, little song simply says, because of who you are, I give you glory. Booyah, I expect you better help me, son.
Because of who you are, I give you praise.
That's it.
Because of who you are, I will lift my voice and say, Lord, I worship you.
Yes.
Because of who you are. Oh, thank you, Lord. Lord, I worship you because of who you are.
Sing it one more time. I feel something there.
Because of who you are, I give you glory.
Yes.
Because of who you are, I give you praise.
That's it.
Because of who you are, I will lift my voice and say, Lord, I worship you because of who you are. Lord, I worship you because of who you are.
Jehovah
Jireh,
my provider.
my provider.
Jehovah
Nissi,
Lord, you reign.
Lord, you reign in victory.
Jehovah
Shalom,
my Prince of Peace.
my Prince of Peace.
And I worship you
And I worship you
because of who
you are.
Stay right there. Jehovah. My
Provider,
Come on, God, one witness tonight. Jehovah. Lord, you reign. Jehovah. Lord, my Prince of Peace. And I worship you
and I worship
because of who you are. One more time, Jehovah.
Jireh,
Yeah, you're my provider.
my provider.
Yeah, Jehovah. Lord, you reign in victory. Yeah. Jehovah, my Prince of Peace. And I worship you.
And I worship you because of who you are.
Where was I? Oh yeah, booyah.
Because of who you are, I give you glory.
That's it.
Hallelujah. Because of who you are, I give you praise.
That's it, son.
Of who you are,
Son, that was good.
What is going on, y'all? It is your man, Dito. You are tuned into Shop Talk, everyone's favorite show, for real, right here on everyone's favorite network. It is freedomradio.com. I am super duper excited about tonight's show and want to welcome everyone who's hanging out with us. Those of you hanging out with us on Facebook, thank you for being here. Those of you who might be watching us on YouTube, welcome to tonight's show, as well as those that might be streaming us tonight on LinkedIn, whomsoever you might be, wherever you might be. We want to say welcome to tonight's show. It's going to be an interesting show. We've got a lot to talk about. I want to hopefully at some point pick up from where we left off last week. We had a very, very interesting show last week. As we were just talking about random stuff that came up, and you know how we do. Shop Talk is literally where no person, no subject is off limits. Those of you hanging out, if this is your first time, welcome. If you haven't been on here in a while, it's all good. Listen, it's still that good barbershop, beauty shop, coffee shop, donut shop, nail shop talk. We're literally, for real, no person and no subject is off limits. My name is Demetrius Tollfree. How do I know? Because it says so right there. Yes, it does. It says so right there, and I am excited about being here. You can hit me up on social media everywhere at D Tollfree. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter if you still use it, Clubhouse if you still use that, and so many other places. I am everywhere at D Tollfree. Somebody told me at one point to use the same name everywhere, so it makes people easy to find you, and I've been using it. That's right. I use it on Venmo at D Tollfree. I use it on Cash App, money sign D Tollfree. In case you just need to, send somebody $1,000 and let them know if you can send it or not. Send it to me. I'll let you know if I got it, and if you need it back, I'll send it back to you in $100 increments. It's all to the good. All right, y'all, let's get ready for tonight's show. We've got a great show lined up for you. Let's get ready to bring up my first co-host out in El Sobrante of California, my homegirl and yours. She needs no real introduction. She's always making me laugh, but then always has something great to say. Let's bring her up. Without further ado, Ashlyn Tara Cole. Ashlyn.
What's going on, Dito?
Well, same old, trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. I'll let you know when I figure it out.
Hey. Yeah, shout out to Digital Underground. That's a lyric from one of their songs. Trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. Yes, absolutely. I bet you didn't know I knew that. I ain't been saved all my life. Come on. In fact, fun fact, I'm actually in the No Nose Jobs video.
Oh, are you really?
I am. There's a scene where there's people on the bus, and I'm on the bus. You got to catch it quick. It happens real fast. But yes, I'm definitely on there. Look, shout out to the Harvester. Shout out to Booyah and the whole gang. Man, that took me right on into worship. Sometimes you just got to pause for the cause. You know what I mean? And that's my saving grace is worship. If I didn't have a relationship with God in my worship experience, I don't know where I would be. Can I just tell you? So, is there a helicopter landing on your roof, Dito?
No, but I am cooking.
I wonder if our audience can hear the helicopter. Anyway, it sounded like a helicopter. But I'm not in El Sobrante no more. Dito, I'm in Hercules. Yeah. Shout out to Dee Felder for knowing the trivia. See, if it would have been a trivia question, she would have won the t-shirt, the hoodie, the mug, all that stuff. She would have definitely won that. And actually, special shout out to Dee Felder, because I'm working out again with her trainer, our trainer. Shout out to BBJ James, Coach James, and he kicked my tail this morning. But let me tell you, I have made progress, Dito, and it's all about progress, not perfection. So I tripled my endurance time. I tripled my abs, however many abs I could do in a minute. I did 4 minutes running in place instead of 1, which I had done 6 months ago.
That's progress.
So that is definitely progress. So, sometimes, Dito, there has to be a reason greater than yourself in order to get you the motivation. And actually it's inspiration, right? Motivation comes from outside. inspiration comes from inside. So I am not only motivated, but I am inspired to get myself together because I got some place to go. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Okay, that's all right. So you want to get it, you want to get the car started, but you don't want to get it going down the street. Okay, it's cool.
No.
It's cool. Interesting. I'll have to ask you a little later. But it's all good. Yeah, no, I don't hear a helicopter or anything like that. But
no, it was like a little distortion or something like that. It's fine. It's gone now.
Okay.
It's gone now.
Okay. Well, it's all good. I am cooking as we do the show today. So
well, somebody's cooking.
I just said I was cooking. What did you not hear me?
How you cooking, Dito, and you on the radio right now?
I'm multitasking. You ever heard that word? I'm multitasking.
I hear pots and pans in the background, but I don't see your hands on no pots and pans. That was
because I'm doing like this right here. I'm doing like this right here.
Jesus. Shout out to Allegra, the twins, whoever it is in the kitchen that's cooking. Shout out.
Yeah, I'm not in my normal place in the house or the studio today. I'm in a completely different place, and it just so happens I'm near the kitchen. And so if y'all hear pots and pans, it's because you hear pots and pans. Anyway, what am I cooking? I am making
Jesus.
I am making a meatloaf is what I'm making, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. I started it before we went on the air, and why nobody believed in me?
I think it's a meat nope is what it is, not a meatloaf. You're making a meat nope. That's what that is. That's that new vegan. That's that new vegan meatloaf. A meat nope.
I can't. Okay. Anyway, glad to have you hanging out with us as well as all the people who are hanging out with us as well. Yes, Lucinda, you do owe us a peach cobbler, and you're not too far from it. So if you make it today or tomorrow, I can be over there in just a moment's notice, and be able to make it happen, and be able to make that happen. It's all good. Listen, not only do we have Ashton hanging out with us in Hercules of California, but all the way out in the North Kakalaki. I miss Tavares. I always want to say Greensboro, where everything is green, but Yolanda is actually in Charlotte of North Carolina, and we are glad. Wait a minute. First of all, who is this Facebook user trying to say that I ain't making nothing? Anyway, I ain't going down that road. And what is going on to Latoya Lewis? We got so many people hanging out. Latoya Lewis, Sandra Brooks, Lucinda Taylor. We've got Dee Dee Felder. We've got Gay Harris. We've got some people who coming up as Facebook users. So I'm not sure exactly who that is, whether it is someone in Fresno, Leah Marie. It could be Leah Marie in Fresno, or it could be Cheryl Galloway in Atlanta. I'm not sure, but it's all to the good. So wait, first of all, why does no one believe I'm in here cooking? You know what I'm saying? But it's cool. It's cool. Okay, and it is Leah Marie. Okay, Leah Marie, glad to have you hanging out with us. Let's bring up the homie out in North Carolina, and that is Yolanda Wild Praise Morant. Yolanda, welcome to tonight's show. Y'all know that she is our most innovative and most exciting and exuberant co-host, and we are glad to have her with us tonight. Yolanda, girl, what's going on?
Hey, how y'all doing? Everybody's good?
Everything is good. All is well. How are you?
I'm good. Let me correct something. Is that okay? I'm really like a very bright and bushy tail person. It's just by the time we do Freedom Radio, I now live on the East Coast. Amen. So we do Freedom Radio at 9:00. I don't want people thinking like, oh my God, I don't want to, I'm like, hey, how you doing? You doing good? I'm really like that. But by the time we come on, it's like 9:00, and I've been dealing with, the kids all day. If you're not in my world. Okay, so people know I own a graphic design company. I do graphic design. Most of my clientele, not all, not only because I want them to be this way, so I'm going to clear all this up like in 25 seconds. I love doing what I do. I will do graphics for anybody, faith-based, non-faith-based, hairstylists, which I love, to be in the industry a lot. Music artists, not music artists. If you sing R&B, if you sing gospel, if you sing folk tunes, it's cool. It's just I do a lot of work for the faith-based community, as I call them, the kids, because sometimes they just they're great. Amen. So when they're great.
It's all good. And as we give a shout out to Cambria Mayfield hanging out with us on YouTube. And more people are starting to join in. People out in Fresno or Frizz, yes. My guy, Jason Archie. He is my guy. This is my guy. We go way back, like 4 flats on a Cadillac. And I don't think he's just my guy, but just for tonight, he's my guy. So I'm glad to have him hanging out. Jason, what's going on, bro? We got to get together one of these days, sooner than later, and let me know what's happening with you. I kind of might have an idea, but anyway, man, glad to have you hanging out. Tracy J. Wilson in the virtual building, as well as so many others. And Dee Dee Felder says about Yolanda that her cassette needs a graphic design.
Oh, I got you, Dee Dee Felder.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, girl.
Yeah, it's all good. Hey, as a matter of fact, before we go any further, I've got to stop real quick to give a big shout out. Freedom Radio has been joining in with other radio stations and as well as other people who do things around the Bay Area. I got to stop for a quick 30-second shout out. On next Saturday, that is July the 9th, and in Oakland, we're going to have a special event going on. So I'll tell you what, I can tell you all about it, but give me 30 seconds. Can I have 30 seconds? Cool. Give me 30 seconds to show you what's going to be going down in the town, as we call it. We'll be right back with more, y'all, real quick, right after Ikana. This.
If I were you, I say
They rock the country, playing to over 1.5 million people with sold-out shows everywhere. And now they're coming to you. It's the critically acclaimed theatrical masterpiece you've got to see. It's God's Trying to Tell You Something. Coming to the beautiful Oakland Temple Hills Auditorium, one show only, Saturday, July 9th, 2 p.m. Get your tickets now at Eventbrite.com. It's God's Trying to Tell You Something. Don't miss it.
That's right. God's Trying to Tell You Something is coming to the Bay Area, coming specifically to Oakland, up in the hills. You know, y'all saw the actual address and everything. Many of you know that as part of the Mormon Temple is up there where that is. And it's going to be an amazing, amazing event. And people have been talking about it. We've been talking about it. And we wanted to let you know, even in a more formal format, that that is coming next Saturday. As a matter of fact, I think next week, we're going to give out a couple pair of tickets to the event. And we'll make that happen. So we'll do that next week, and it will be absolutely amazing. All right, y'all, let's get ready to get tonight's show going. And I want to go back by doing, we did this a little while ago, and I haven't done it in a few weeks, and that is the National Day. The National Day is we're going to get on that. And you guys are going to actually crack up at today's National Day. Okay. So let's do it this way. There are 3 things that I want to mention about today's National Day. First one, it falls into my category because today is National Camera Day. National Camera Day. So I should have been out somewhere doing some photo shoots, but I got to work. I had to work today. Anyway, today is National Camera Day. Secondly, today is National Waffle Iron Day. National Waffle Iron Day. I knew you'd get excited about that.
Interesting. I'm getting ready to go to Instagram right now. Is it really? This is facts right now?
Yes.
Okay.
These are facts. I didn't make this up.
So my daughter, fun fact, my daughter, who is now a chef, she's now a personal chef. Shout out to the Real Humble Chef down in Pasadena, California. She just posted a reel of herself making waffles, and I'm going to post it right now on National Waffle Day. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Dito.
Absolutely. Today is National Waffle Iron Day. And last but not least, I'm not a big fan of this, but today is National Almond Butter Crunch Day. Almond Butter Crunch Day.
Is that an ice cream flavor?
It's not a candy bar. It's not
almond butter crunch.
When did you ever see me eat candy?
Could be
like crunchy almond butter.
Almond butter crunch day. I'm assuming that's an ice cream flavor.
That could be. It could be.
Things that make you go,
Yeah, exactly. I am not a big candy bar eater. When I eat candy bars, I eat Score Bar.
Yeah, hallelujah.
That is the Lord's doing. Yes, Score Bar is my candy bar of choice. But
Score and 7 years ago. Hallelujah.
Yes. It is National Almond Butter Crunch Day. So that is good stuff to know. So those of you who may want to go out and celebrate and go out to your local 31 Flavors or wherever you go to get your ice cream, that might be a great thing or a great flavor to try today. What's going on to Delasia Campbell? What's going on, Delasia? I think if my memory is right, she graduated high school a few weeks ago. So congrats to you, Delasia.
Oh.
And yeah, we're glad to have her hanging out. I think y'all know that my daughter's graduated. They already moved on to the next thing. Graduation was short-lived. By a couple of days later, they was going on to something else. They in nursing school, so they're not even having a summer. They ready to hit it and make it happen. Anyway, all right, y'all. Let's get ready to bring up our next co-host. He's where he usually is at this time of day, in the car. I'm assuming on his way to a rehearsal or wherever he may be going. Let's bring up our next co-host, my guy, Ja'Cory Prothro. Ja'Cory, what is going on? Welcome to tonight's show. Man, where are you going now?
Well, honestly, I'm on my way to sing with Terrence Kelly. Just got a call, so I'm on my way to sing that hard Darwin Hobbs song that you guys have probably seen the clip of.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm not mad at you. Go and do what must be done, knowing that you'll do an absolutely amazing job. Ashton's trying to get your attention. Are you guys matching?
Better together. Oh, that's a show that I used to watch.
It's a show you used to be on.
Yeah, Better Together. Yeah, what happened with y'all?
Look, I mean, life happens. Life comes at you fast, as my son likes to say. It's funny. We sort of have had a transference of energy, Ja'Cory and I. We've had a transference of roles where he was sort of, in the wings, watching all of these opportunities for me. Now I'm in the wings watching all these opportunities for him, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
I think it's great stuff. Like, we talked about this a few months ago, that doors are going to be opening up for him, and I definitely want you to run through them. And wherever you go, take us with you, and Ashley, wherever you go, and Yolanda, wherever you go. I don't go too many places, but wherever I go, I take.
Hey, you started traveling though recently, Dito, as well. You started traveling with ministry, so don't be too humble now. Be humble, but don't be too humble now.
I'm the low man on the totem pole. People normally call me the host, and they know if I host, I'm gonna probably throw a song in there, but it's all good. That's the manip that people use for Dito, but it's all good, and we will make it happen. Anyway, listen, let's get ready to jump further into tonight's show, and so we've already done the National Day for today, which is interesting, and I want to go a little bit further, and I want to talk about the mere fact that many of you are in the news. You all keep up with the news and keep up with social media, all these type of great things. R. Kelly back in the news as of today, and man, R. Kelly is back in the news, and I guess today was the sentencing. That could be a tongue twister. Sentencing, whatever you want to call it. He went to court, and the judge was there to hand him some information. And so today was the sentencing for the R. Kelly trial. And man, doesn't look like they took a light on him. He was sentenced to 30 years in federal prison. That's a long time.
Look at Didi Felder. I believe he should fly. Jesus, Didi.
Yeah, hilarious. There's only one Didi Felder, but
30 years. Did he really get 30 years? This is news to me, so please.
Really? Yes. No, this is for real. He got sentenced to 30 years in the federal prison today. I can't remember how old R. Kelly is, but 30 years is a long time at the age he is. I'm going to assume, I don't even know if he's my age, but he's 30 years is a long time. So
he's 55 years old.
Okay, I see you, Sandra Brooks. Sandra said he's 54. Ashton says he's 55. He's in his 50s. How about that?
Yeah, January 8th, 1967. So this
Okay.
year in January, he would have
55.
turned 55. Yes.
Yeah, he would have. I think he did. Okay. Yeah, cool.
Oh,
So
he
he's
did. He
55.
did. He
Yeah.
did.
So when he gets out, and now hopefully he doesn't serve the whole 30 years. I say hopefully, only because I guess we won't hear any more R. Kelly music. Y'all not gonna be stepping when he turns 85, are y'all? Step, side to side.
It'll be scoot, side to side.
You can't scoot side to side. You can only go in one direction.
Right. Shuffle.
Yeah. It's gonna. I mean, how do y'all feel about this? I can say what I feel, but this is y'all show. Ashley, what do you feel about this whole thing? I mean, incredible musician, songwriter, producer. His musical life, I guess you're going to say, has been cut short. I don't know.
I'm not sure why you came to me first, but okay. Yeah, I think that, you know, I'm sort of on the extreme side of it. You know, every now and then, my mind's telling me no. Every now and then that comes into my, you know, every now and then, you know, because it's relevant. It's because it's relevant. You know what I mean? It's relevant music. And when he put those songs out, I don't know what he was doing behind closed doors. All I know is that I related to the music. And yeah, was it a little racy? Absolutely. Now we could, you know, whatever. But I am definitely somebody who took an extreme approach to this. And I don't listen to R. Kelly anymore. That is just, I have not supported his music since then. I don't talk about it. I don't post about it. I don't argue against or fight against. I'm like, wow, that's so sad. The whole thing to me is so sad. I mean, it's just like, you know, was he wrong? Absolutely. Did the girls, you know, was there some, you know, the whole thing. You watch not the documentary, but the docuseries or whatever they call it. It was just awful. I have a daughter, Dito, I know you have, you know, it's like, golly, it was just horrible. So very, very sad. It doesn't change the fact that what was done was done. I mean, maybe somebody feels good that he's going to go away in prison for 30 years. But I mean, was justice served? You know, there's no justice in any of it. You can't fix the hurt. You can't take away the scars. You can't change a parent's thought that they couldn't protect their child or they didn't do enough to protect their daughter. You can't give that to a parent. That takes time and healing and God's grace and prayer and all of those things. So it's just very sad. The whole thing is very sad. And honestly, he is not going to have an easy time in prison. People, from what I understand, from what I hear, word on the street is, people in penitentiary don't take kindly to child molesters. So he's not going to have an easy time. This is not going to be a cakewalk for him.
Absolutely. I'm with you all the way. And Dee Felder chimes in and she says two different things. Let me bring the other one up first. She says, you don't know what a lot of artists do behind the scenes. She says it's so sad and all of it. And she said the parents too, because she says, who would take your daughter to the devil? I hear you, Dee. Elizabeth Ann Jefferson further chimes in. She says, where is the accountability for those who were his enablers?
Yeah.
You know, obviously there were people that was there that knew what was going on and, you know, was still allowing whatever to take place. I hear you, Elizabeth. That is a great question as well. And Jacory, man, I mean, tell me what you think about this, man, about this whole situation. And man, this is crazy.
It's funny because we were just having this discussion at the house that I work at. My thing is, at the end of, you know, money makes people walk different ways at the end of the day. They'll go with you as far as the money will take them until it stops. And I feel as though, okay, he got 30 years, but it's a lot of other people that should have got 5, 10, 15, 20. So, I mean, you know, but it doesn't stop that he's a musical genius. Gifts come without repentance. So my thing is, at the end of the day, he wrote some Whitney Houston songs that I still listen to, and I'm not going to stop. You know, I hate the whole story of what's going on, but at the end of the day, you know, you can't just throw them away. All you can do is pray for them. It's rooted from something.
So you just gotta be careful with that thing.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. That's a good point out. Yolanda, who in many cases, in instances like this, in conversations like this, she plays the devil's advocate. So Yolanda, I'm curious to hear your response to this tonight, and so therefore the virtual floor is yours.
I think wisdom should be my portion, and because what I want to say, I think a lot of people are going to disagree with, especially given my experiences as a child that I've been very open to talk about. But I just think wisdom should be my portion. Quiet, because I don't agree with it. There's a lot I want to say. I just think
we still have time. I mean, is there any particular point you want to point out, or anything that you want to shed light upon? I know bits and pieces of your story without putting you on the spot, but I mean, I know you're probably looking at this from different angles, probably several different angles, but even in you using wisdom in your responses, tell us something about what you're thinking.
I feel very emotional. I've never met R. Kelly. What I have a concern about as a human being, I just have a problem with the parents, because what I believe is it is your responsibility. When God saw fit to give you a child, he gave you a responsibility. And I believe it is your responsibility to protect your child. Now, I do understand things happen. And as a child, as a product of molestation, rape are two different things. Fondling, that's different. But when you take your child to a grown man's house to let him musically produce your child, okay? Let me just say it from this angle. Everybody's different. My mama is from the good old back country. Let me tell you something. There is no way on God's green earth that Malaya Earl would have let Yolanda Morant sit inside R. Kelly's house by herself. It's not going down. It's just not going to happen. And if she wouldn't have been there, my auntie would have been there. If my auntie wouldn't have been there, my uncle would have been there. Nobody was going to let me be over their house by themselves. So the problem I personally have, just as a human being, is all the people who are ranting and raving, and I'm not bashing anybody. He got what he deserved, but the reality is the parents need to be charged too. So we're going to let's charge everybody. Let's charge the parents who were there, who allowed their children. And I know that may not be the case for every case, but in a lot of those cases, those parents knew who he was. They knew the kind of music he sang, or he produced, or that he wrote, and they knew that their daughters were there. There needs to be responsibility for those parents. There needs to be responsibility for all of the artists, producers, security, and whoever else who knew that he had an affinity for whatever reason for younger women. So people don't understand about molestation. This is what I'm saying. You're going to have to cut me off, because it boils my insides, because what I have a problem with is people don't understand what happens to people who are molested. There are multiple things that can happen, right? You can end up on drugs for several years. I have a cousin, she was on drugs for 20 plus years. You can be a person like myself who becomes withdrawn. You may end up having educational issues. Some people end up being sex addicts, or the other way. They become very shut down when it comes to sex at all. I mean, the issues can be so extreme from one person to the next. So while I'm not condoning his behavior, I am saying R. Kelly was very troubled. He was molested as a child. You do not wake up in the morning and become a molester. something happens to you, there is a root that is planted and it is never taken care of. So the problem I have is all the rappers, all the people who were there, all the people who made the money, all the people who came up off him, but you knew. And now you get to sit back at your house and chill while he's locked up. I'm not saying he shouldn't pay for his wrong. I'm saying all you people who get to sit back and do nothing. And you knew.
Yeah.
There's an interview with Public Enemy. This was so confusing. They said on one side of the interview, we never knew what Kelly was doing, man. We never knew what Robert was doing. We were on one side of the studio. We never saw what everybody's talking about. Same interview, they said, oh yeah, you know, we would see these moms in the kitchen. Well, I thought you didn't say nothing. So how did you know that there was mamas in the kitchen, which equal that there were daughters in the house? So I have to stop, because it just everybody's celebrating and yay and oh. But there are multiple artists that have this behavior. And they're not just in R&B. They're not just in R&B. Y'all better wake up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I can't say. I'm telling you, they're not just in R&B. This been going on in the gospel community for decades. Gospel, R&B, hip hop, classical, you name it, is there. I just don't like that he gets to be the poster child for everybody else's stuff.
Yeah. I mean, what you're saying is so true. And I just, I don't know why I just thought of, wow, the glory of God is just shining in the window. Okay. Hallelujah. Why it made me think of totally different scenario, but the type of thing where you let one person's head roll and you just kind of dip, right? Oh, they're focused on, I mean, I was thinking about Will Smith and how Will Smith's, behavior looked like it was either asked to be carried out or instigated by the person sitting to his left. And why are they not being held responsible? I'm not saying that's what it was. I'm just saying, as an observer, there are always more than one person involved, right? And when you got something like that. So what you're saying, Yolanda, is like, what about everybody else? But this is what happens. Oh, I didn't know, because the focus is on the one person, right? Heavy is the head that wears the crown. And so we all are looking at him, let his head roll, and everybody else can just take cover and get away with the fact that, yeah, there were enablers. There were bodyguards. Where are they? And the guilt of a parent, of course, they're gonna focus on him, because it's hard to own up to that. It's hard to own up to the fact that you didn't protect your child. You didn't do right by your child. It is hard to take responsibility and accountability for that.
Can I say this, just one more thing? There were instances, I'm gonna give you an example. When he quote unquote married Aaliyah, I'm confused as to why it took the preacher 30 years to come out and say, oh, well, I thought something was wrong. Sir, when the girl showed up and she looked, why did you marry them? Because he was paid off. He was paid to marry them. And then all of a sudden, the girl's been, Aaliyah, I'm the same age as Aaliyah. Aaliyah's been dead almost 20 years? You wait until R. Kelly goes to jail to get a conviction in your heart about being, come on. I'm just saying, stuff like this, the Harvey Weinsteins, all these people, it rubs me.
22 years it will be 22
years.
Going on 22 years.
So can you imagine how her parents had to relive that all over again?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about happy news.
Well, Jacory, I know Jacory was trying to get my attention on that. Jacory, man, go right and hear what you was ready to say, man.
No, I was just gonna say that makes me question the whole Aaliyah piece. What was that about? And then if you take it even further than that, how much money will it take for me to pay you to do something that you really wouldn't? do.
I hear you, man, and let me tell you, I'm the father of twin daughters. Yeah. We want to put blame on the parents or ask or question their motives and stuff like that. Listen, I am the father of twin daughters. They're 17. Both of them are very talented, and both are very, very shapely. They are grown. They have grown into women at 17. I am very, very overprotective of them. They still have a curfew. They have to be home no later than 9, and I know where they are at all times. I'm that dad. I'm that dad to where I'll pop up where you are. So even though these young ladies and stuff like that were trying to chase dreams at one point, or part of it was they were trying to chase the musical dream. Listen, I understand that, but there would have been no time. I'm with you, Yolanda. And just so you know, wisdom did prevail. Your comments were very seasoned with wisdom. Me as a father, me as a parent, there is no time that my kids would have been at any guy's house, any producer's house, any man's house without some sort of supervision, whether it's me, whether it's their mother, their brother, their godparents, some other grown up would have been in the building when that whole scenario was happening. So I'm completely with you. And Yolanda, you said some great things that kind of got my attention. What about the other people? What about the others that were there and knew, whether they were paid to marry, whether they were paid to do whatever, why all of a sudden did they turn on him in such a way? And I agree that he's probably not the only one. Even though I'm in the gospel field, I'm not as into the gospel field as some would think. I've never been to a GMWA, so I don't know what all goes on there. I've never been to, a lot of things that are gospel oriented where a lot of these things and situations occur. So I'm really, really in this instance, kind of on the outside looking in. But I have those same questions. Where were the parents? What were they thinking? What were they compensated during this whole process? Ashton, if you're trying to say something, you're muted.
No,
it's a lot of manipulation going on. That's all I'm saying.
But
money talks,
Yeah, this is a hard, like, even just thinking about it's so funny because I have put so many of my past things behind me to the point where I'm like, I don't even really think about it until a conversation like this comes up. But literally, thank God I didn't come in contact with somebody like R. Kelly or, something like that as a teenage girl in the music industry, wanting to get signed. You know what I mean? Like, thank God I had people like Derek Hall looking out for me, right? Thank God I had, I had people that, came in and like stepped in right on time. But the bottom line, my mother she wasn't super protective of me. She came from a different sort of headspace where she thought the world was safe and she wanted to believe that, nothing would happen to her daughter. And I definitely was in compromising situations. And so I think that there's a fine line between trusting that everything is going to be okay. I mean, look, I can pray day in and day out and say, God, protect me from this train, but I'm not going to jump in front of the train. That's stupid. Like common sense would tell you, right? And so like we think in those moments, like common sense would have told you that a grown man shouldn't be having time alone. I don't care if it's in the studio, in the wherever it is. I don't care. I don't care if it's for milk and cookies. I don't care. Somewhere along the line, where was your common sense as a parent? And so then I take it a step further. How are we learning how to parent? Who are we learning how to parent from? Okay. So maybe these are people who weren't parented or have resentments for their parents, or maybe they don't love themselves and they don't protect their own children, right? It's so convoluted and so deep. There's so many questions that we could ask in this time and space. I think that the key for any tragedy is, what are we going to learn from it?
Yes, ma'am.
What shall we learn from this as a community, right? as a community of believers, right? Okay, let's start there. As a community of believers, yes, we must pray. God be a hedge of protection around our children, all of that stuff. But you don't send your child into the lion's den knowing the risks and all of that stuff, right? You don't send them, right? You don't send them. And so, you know, I feel like times like this, it doesn't, you know, today's generation is so independent and they're so like, you can't tell me, and I got this, and I'm grown, and but just like we were, but even more so. I think this generation has it even harder than we had, you know, amazingly enough. But we still have to step in and take the heat as parents. Still, I mean, my kids are 21 and 20, almost 24. I'm still gonna give my say. I don't know. My daughter is almost 24 and she shares her location with me on our iPhones. I know where she is at all times.
As you should.
As I should. As I should. So what do we
But I believe also, as believers, we have to be open enough to have conversations to where someone can present what's hidden in the closet.
Yes, sir.
Say that.
I mean, it's just true. Because the thing is, sometimes they can't present nothing because all you're going to do is nail them to the ground.
My God.
Everybody's got their own separate issues and things that they're dealing with. But as believers, we are not open enough to have conversations to say, hey, what you going through? How can I help you? No, they just going to nail you right to the cross and it's over. What does it stream from? Where, you know, we just not open. I think we need to get to a point to where we can actually have conversations.
But do you think, Ja'Cory, would you say that we don't have conversations about what they're doing? Because if we talk about what they're doing, it means that we have to talk about what we're doing. And all, you know what I'm saying? And all the things that we're hiding in the closet about. So if we shed light on that, then we'd be like, now we got to talk about it.
But I think that's been a church game. That's been a church game forever. So
I don't think you have. I think at some point you have to be willing. At some point you have to want to be free. And so at some point, if I just continually withhold that I had educational struggles, I'm not going to be able to help somebody else. I remember one time I was singing at the church, and I felt this overwhelming urge to talk about this educational struggle. I had never talked about it in public. And I was like, why would I? What? But I felt so overwhelmed that I did it. A guy that I had known since high school never knew I had the educational struggles, right? And he said, Yolanda, man, I've known you forever. I never knew. And he said, but my wife and I, thank you so much today because our child is going through the same thing. And we felt so alone before today. I thought, wow. And so I'm just saying that to say, you know, sometimes our withholding to protect ourselves is stopping someone else from being free. It's stopping someone else from feeling protected. Because we're so close in, as Ja'Cory said, we don't want to talk about this. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about these things. But I mean, you don't know how people got there. You don't know what's going on. And so you just look at somebody and you're judging. You're you know, I think there's a difference between being judgmental and speaking truth. And so some people don't want to hear truth because they feel like you're being judgmental. It's just like, to me, it's all mixed up. It's all everywhere. And I agree with Ja'Cory. We need to start having very honest and open conversations. If we don't, we're going to find ourselves going through these cycles for a really long time, longer than we are. We already dealt with the slavery, this over here, this over here, this over here. Like, how much more? You know what I mean? Just like this is stupid. Just have the freaking conversation. Your kid is gay. There's nothing you can do. Okay, let's just have the conversation. How did they get there? What happened? How do we get through this? You can love them and disagree with the lifestyle, but if you're not willing to have the conversation, nobody is going to get free.
That's
and
good.
there's bigger issues.
And then how do you rescue them? How do you rescue them if you just don't know? My thing is, when is the church going to be able to handle the real testimony? That's why we can't have testimony service now, because if it's presented, you gonna judge me and hang me to the cross.
That part.
From an issue that I may not have given myself.
That you may not have.
Wow. Wow.
An issue that I may not have given myself.
And I don't want to throw this get there. I mean, there's all kind of issues. People deal with drugs, people deal with alcoholism, people deal with insecurities, people deal with this. I just found out I'm tall. Now to y'all probably like, well, yeah, I just, like doctors like 5'7". I'm like, really? To somebody else, I'm not saying that's a major issue. What I'm saying is that's something I had to come to grips with. Like, dang, I'm okay. To someone, but to someone that is huge. That's like, oh my God, that can be detrimental. So what I'm saying is, if you can't, Holy Ghost, if you can't accept the small things, how are you going to deal with the big? It's just so many things that we don't talk about. And you wonder why your kids are trouble. You wonder what's going on, why they won't. But man, it is some very serious things that are happening and we're not paying attention.
That's true. And Yolanda, being a good steward is like, okay, you got to be a good steward over your body, your mind, your money, your children.
Absolutely.
Right? We're called to be good stewards over the things that God gave us, right?
Absolutely.
God gave us our children. We don't own them. They don't belong to us, but we've been called to guide them, to lead them, train up a child as you would in the way that you would have them go. We are called to be good stewards over our children. But some people are not good stewards over anything. And I'm a firm believer, how you do one thing is how you do all things. So if you're not a good steward over your finances, you're probably not a good steward over your kids. You're probably not a good steward over your bills or your job. You know what I mean? Like, how you do one thing is how you do all things. So we have to get to a point where we are accountable, right? And so, like, this season that I'm in right now is I'm doing inventory, right? Inventory. I'm taking inventory of my tool shed. I'm taking inventory of my storage unit, right? Sometimes we get those things mixed up. I got guilt and shame and all these things that I'm holding in my tool shed. That doesn't belong there. That needs to go to the storage unit, right? So holding on to all these things, the past, so that we can move forward on the future. But in order to do that, you got to put everything out on the table. You just do. Like, be brave and just put it out on the table. And if people can't accept it, guess what? Your circle of trust is just going to get smaller, and that is okay. That is okay.
So, Ashlyn, you said something that really got my attention. You said that they weren't good. People aren't good stewards over stuff, and the way they act with one thing shows up with the other. It makes me think that you're saying indirectly that those parents were not passionate, because just like with the bad stuff, it's the same thing with the good. So if you're passionate, let's use Yolanda. Yolanda is passionate about graphic design, but it doesn't just show up in her graphic design. It shows up in her singing. It shows up in how she handles things. So you guys are making me think that the parents lacked passion, because if they were passionate about themselves and passionate about the relationships one to another, they would have been passionate about the protection of their kids.
Wow.
Come on.
So I think as we scroll back over this and as we start thinking about this stuff, Yolanda mentioned some same things too. That why are we putting all the blame on him? If we had some passionate parents who was taking care of their kids the same way that they would take care of themselves or each other, or were they just chasing dreams? Maybe they were chasing dreams that they could not obtain themselves, and at any cost, they were willing to get that goal taken care of, even if it meant selling their kid's soul.
My God. Dito, what you just said is so key, because without, okay, so a dream, a goal without a plan is just a dream. And if you don't have a plan for your goal, somebody else will give you the plan. Now, what I see, what you just said, is that these parents wanted their kids to be famous, rich, whatever it is, but they had no plan. They just had a pipe dream. And R. Kelly and his team came in and said, I'll give you a plan. Why don't you bring your daughter over by on Friday night and we'll give her back to you on Monday. That's a plan. And then the parent, I'm just saying, I'm filling in blanks, right? I'm just saying. And the parents are like, great, awesome, because we couldn't do it ourselves. We couldn't take her to the level that we wanted to take her. She's got all these gifts and talents. R. Kelly is making this money. He's on TV, people screaming, hooping and hollering. He's, you know what I'm saying? I'd bring her on Friday and we'll give her back to you on a Monday. Awesome.
There's
absolutely
the plan. No way.
Exactly.
There is no way on earth that I'm dropping my kid off to anybody on Friday and picking them back up on Monday. What? I'm coming with a sleeping bag and I'm going to be right here. We're going to sleep on this floor. And when we get up in the morning, we're going to do whatever we got to do. There's no way. There is absolutely no way. Can you, Matt? Come on. Y'all know Allegra.
No.
Y'all know Allegra. Can y'all imagine me telling Allegra, oh, I'm going to drop my kids off at this guy's house. They working on an album for the next 3 days, and we'll pick them up on Monday. Child, please. I wouldn't have a place to live. I wouldn't have a car to drive. My legs might be broken. You never know what might happen if I said something like that. I just think that those parents lacked passion, and they were chasing a dream that could have been theirs that they may have never been able to get. You know how we are as parents that you know, we try to live out our dreams through our children. And, you know, we all want our kids to be better than what we were. Could it have been that those parents were aspiring artists themselves?
Well,
but felt like their time of opportunity had passed them by.
Well,
but they had kids were at a tender age where they could live out their dreams through their children at any cost. Wow. I don't know, y'all. It's something that's one of them makes you go, type of situations.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So
yeah.
I'm
you know what scares me is the stories that aren't told. Because again, I just feel like R. Kelly. I just want to be really clear because I don't like Yolanda. I'm not saying he was right. I'm just saying he's the poster child. Mm-hmm. That's the part that really bothers me. And so to me, it's all the artists who got away with stuff for years. And they got away with it. No one told it. No one said anything. And he's the poster child. And it's like, hooray for the poster child while you sitting back in your house chilling. All the hearts that were broken, all the women that were lied to, all the kids that people got all over the world that nobody talks about. And here's this guy who was troubled. You know, when you hear the interviews of some artists like Little Mo, who says, you know, she has been very public about not throwing him under the bus. Because she said he was the only person that helped her when nobody else would help her. But she did say, you know, she had multiple conversations. So that goes to say there were things going on. That she's one person, but she's one person to me out of many people who probably knew something was wrong, but didn't want to say anything, who had that feeling. You know, women, we have this intuition. So you walk in, you're like, something don't feel right in here. But you go anyway. And you knew something in the sauce wasn't right, but you let him produce your song. So to me, it's crazy for you to pull your song off the album. That's dumb. This is music. You got to separate the artist from the person. My friend used to tell me you got to separate Cosby from the. You know, I'm like a big Bill Cosby kid, and I watched the Cosby. The Cosby was a TV show. You know, it's not real. So I think that part has to happen as well. You have to separate the music from the person. R. Kelly, Robert Kelly has some very real issues. So again, I don't want to make it I'm not saying this to pacify anybody. I'm not condoning what he did. If he did it, he did it. I'm just saying, without being repetitive, all parties need to be held responsible. If you a mama and you dropped your kid off, lady. What's up with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. And trust your instincts. You know what I mean? If you think something is wrong, something is wrong. If you think something is wrong, something is wrong. Like it's just that thing. That's how the Holy Spirit works.
That's how.
If you asking God to give you discernment, then be discerning. Use your discernment. Goodness. Okay,
I'm with you. Listen, this has been a very, very interesting conversation. One that doesn't have to end here as we come to the close of our show. Obviously, we can continue this conversation on Facebook. If we want to, we can move to Twitter, whatever we want to do. But I think this is a conversation that needs to continue. Just like our conversation from last week that we were supposed to reintroduce this week, we're supposed to continue to get a chance to do it. But, this is what happens on Shop Talk. Listen, tune in next week. Maybe we can pick up from where we left off here or pick up last week's conversation that we were supposed to pick up tonight and be able to make that happen. I appreciate everybody who has hung out with us. We've got people who've been chiming in. People have been texting me as well. And so this has been a great conversation. Thank you, Elizabeth. I agree. It has been rich. And I see my bro, Pastor William Carter Jr. out in Sacramento. Pastor Carter is a good friend of mine. And when I say good friend, I don't have to talk to him every day. We don't have to hang out every week. But this is a guy who has my back. He saw me getting ready to go down a tunnel or go down a road that might have been destructive. And instead of him letting me go down that road, he reached out to me and said, "Hey, man, this is what I hear is going on. Let me just give you this warning beforehand." And listen, I was able to heed that warning, save myself some I could have been in jail too. Anyway, save myself some situations, some heartache. So thank you, Pastor William Carter, man, for being that great friend. I'm looking up at the clock. It is time for us to get ready to go. But before we go, Yolanda Morant, any closing final comments?
You said a lot. Life is short, I say this. I was in Florida this week with my parents, and I was in this beautiful hotel. Shout out to my dad who, took us on this trip. And what I thought about is life is too short to wait to live. Life
Absolutely.
is too short to wait to live. So if you're waiting for somebody to take you on a vacation, my friend Stephanie Drake told me one time, don't wait on anybody to come and save you, girl. Take your own self on a vacation. Just don't. It's too short to wait. If you want to go, I'm a big Disney kid. I'm not going to wait for somebody to take me. Take myself. You know what I'm saying? It's too short. Get out, live, do, and just live life to its fullest.
Absolutely. I love that. That's good stuff. Vacations are necessary and needed. It works. It helps your mental, your psyche. It works with it helps you just live life. You need time off. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and think that you're going to keep getting the same result. You got to take some time to step back and the woosah, all those great things. I'm going to take you up on that because I plan to take a vacation very, very soon. Ashlyn, closing comments, final thoughts.
Thank you, Dito. Rich discussion. Pastor Ann, absolutely. We love you as well. I'll leave you with something I sent out to the text thread this morning. We only lead as well as we serve. So in this season of taking inventory, ask yourself the W's. Who, what, where, when, and why do I serve? Because when I serve, we all win.
I like it. I like it. Shout out to Dee Dee Felder, who's talking about play my cassette because life is too short. You know what? Anyway, listen, I've said it time and time again, but it could not be more appropriate to say tonight. And that is what you allow, that you will get more of. So you've got to take time yourself to stop letting things happen that you can control. Stop letting people use you as a sounding board. Stop letting people use you as a garbage can, because the more you allow it, the more you will get of it. Listen, tonight has been absolutely amazing. On behalf of Ashlyn out in Hercules of California, Jacory out in the streets of Northern California, my girl Yolanda Wild Praise Morant out in Charlotte of North Carolina. My name is Dito, Demetrius Tofu, if you know me for real. Till the next time on this same Shop Talk Network, at this same Shop Talk time. Y'all know how I do it. Help me say it. Ow.